Defensively, we weren't that bad today. We let some shooters loose in the first half, but we made those adjustments. We took away the paint from them. Primarily, they scored off of our turnovers with straight line passes instead of ball faking. We told our kids their athletes would go straight in the air off a ball fake, but late in the game, we had about 3 of those that were direct line live turnovers that we couldn't guard, and that opened up the game a little bit. The kids are executing our stuff. We got to knock down wide open shots. We got quite a few of wide open shots that would have changed the game. And that's what it comes down to is we got to knock down shots when we're open. When the ball sticks, we're not very good. We're not very good. But we got to keep learning ways and finding ways to finish and be a little bit more aggressive. Be a little bit more aggressive. They had 19 turnovers. We should have had more than that when they were coming off those screens. We wanted to flood it a little bit and be really handsy. I'll be curious to check our deflections. I just thought we were low energy off a couple of those because we were being so cautious not to foul. And you can't play that way. You just got to play. And when we're diving, flying after loose balls, getting some stuff. And then we got to convert in transition. We only had 2 fast break points. I don't know what we're worried about as we're coming down the floor. We let them back tap a couple of them. But we got to make easy layups like they did when they got their steals.
You look at the stat sheet, you see you take 17 more shots, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's the most days, if you take 17 more shots, you're talking about a win, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is it, I mean, like you said, it's just a question of making shots at that point rather than just executing your offense.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and 4 of those are missed layups. 4 of those are missed layups in transition. And then the other one are the wide open shots where, hey, even if you're wide open, if you don't have your rhythm, take one dribble. The closeouts weren't coming hard, so you had time to get your rhythm, but that's just part of it, getting in the gym and having those. We're just having too many of those days. And then when we sub, we have to have continuity on the defensive end. I can sub you and you can get a shot up, but you got to know what you're doing defensively because when I subbed early, they immediately went baseline to baseline. Our kids couldn't cover that, and that's where those threes were coming from earlier. We fixed that in the second half, but I didn't sub as much on there. So when my bench comes in and I'm primarily bringing you in, if a kid isn't knocking down a shot, I know we got some kids that can knock down shots, but we can't give it up on the other end because coaches are going directly after those players.
23 hit 5 of 5 from 3 in the first half.
Yeah.
She was 2 for 21 all year coming into the
Yeah.
game. Is that one of those deals where maybe you knew she was a better shooter than the stat sheet was letting on, or was it something that?
No, we labeled her as a both, and there were a couple kids, her and I think 13, that we were going to get out on.
Yeah.
We just dropped too deep on the zone. That's a kid that we had identified as a shooter, as one of those that would look for it. So there's no excuse for us getting down. Now, transition, you lose her one time, great. But when we just drop down on the zone and not rotate it out to her side, we're used to squeezing, but you got to get out and get those. But we made that correction in the second half.
Really?
But we've had a couple of those kids in these games that we've played that they haven't shot it, all year, and then they make them against us.
You talked about your defense at times wasn't too bad. You held them without a point for that 4-minute stretch.
Yeah.
You were within 6 and you just couldn't reward yourself.
Yeah.
Is that kind of one of those deals where, it's a chicken egg thing where you have to have some success to believe and you have to believe to have success?
That's exactly it. When the question mark is there, when the W doesn't come, early, and we don't have the luxury of scheduling and buying games and getting kids and teams in here that we can beat up on by 20 or 30. We don't have that luxury early to learn how to win. So when you're playing quality opponents that have been there before and veteran coaches that have been there before, you got to find ways. And that's what I was saying in my timeouts. They're trying to give it to you guys. But understand, they're learning too. That's a new team for them, and they're just not as confident, as well, which is why they had those same stretches in there. But for us, our timeline, we just got to keep getting better and better, but finding ways to lock it down. My coaching staff did a good job with our defensive game plan on there, and we just got to put the ball in the hole.
Where do you find rays of optimism going into December and getting closer to the run-up to starting league play? Where do you find the rays of optimism to sell to your team?
That you're getting better, and you use your measuring stick and look at where you were defensively to start the year against McKendree and how much better we've gotten. since then. It would be one thing if, yeah, we had turnovers on things that are correctable, like I said, flat-footed, no ball fake passes on that, but for the most part, we're getting the looks that we want. I got to work on my post entries because we've done that all week, but we're still late with it and not getting the high-low looks that could change the look of the game.
And kind of will go overshadowed, I guess, by the outcome of the game, but Kaya Nelson with 10 assists. I mean, that's
Yeah, she's she's learning. She's moving it. She's trying to watch film on it, playing in that role. We just got to move it a little bit, get the tempo and move it a little bit quicker, reversing the ball. But it is good for her rebounding from where she was in Nashville. More proud of the 2 turnovers than the 10 assists right now, just because she's learning to value that ball a little bit more.